Hello, welcome back to Mancinima. Hope you're all doing alright, hope you're doing okay. I've got a couple of movies to review for you this week, first of all being Glass Onion and the second of which being She Said. But before we get into that, if you can go through the usual routine for me please, if you can please give this video the thumbs up. As usual, if you don't like the video afterwards you can always take it back down again, but if you can do it now for me so you don't forget, that'd be great. If you can subscribe to the channel so you can see what other videos I've got on offer, and if you can hit the notification bell, that'll let you know when I've done another one of these videos. Okay, thank you so much. So, lots of notes today because there's a lot to say. So, please excuse me if I'm glancing down. We're going to take a look first of all at Glass Onion, which is the sequel to 2019's Knives Out, which was a massive success, you know, a great murder mystery movie starring Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. So in Glass Onion, you've got tech billionaire Miles Bron, which is played by Edward Norton. He invites his friends to a remote Greek island. Why is it with people being, invited to remote islands? We had that in the menu, didn't we, last week? Must be a theme. Yeah, by way of a series of wooden puzzle boxes that get sent to them. So they get these wooden crates delivered to their houses, and the crates are about so big, and first of all it just looks like a wooden block, and everyone's like, what the hell have we got to do with this? And then somebody solves the fact that if you press a particular button in a particular way, the whole thing opens up and there's a series of puzzles within puzzles that you have to solve. So it's kind of like Hellraiser. Do you remember when Hellraiser they get the little puzzle box and they press the button and it all opens up and then the demons come? But no demons come in this one. So yeah, they get those boxes to solve and they get an invite to this remote Greek island and it's to solve Miles Bron's own murder, so he says within the invite. One of these wooden puzzle boxes accidentally makes its way to Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc, who finds himself on Bron's Greek island, much to the bemusement of Bron himself, who hasn't invited him. Of course, he's had a set group of people that he's invited, and Benoit Blanc is the fly in the ointment, much like Margot was in the menu, in the fact that she wasn't invited to the island there either. You see a theme going on with these movies at the moment? So, yeah, so Bron is he's created this elaborate murder mystery which is quickly solved by Benoit, much to Bron's disappointment. And then suddenly they find out that one of the guests that have been invited to the dinner party actually does die, and then it's up to Benoit to solve this mystery. So in 2019 Knives Out came out and it was an instant success, leading Netflix to commission 2 further sequels, the first of which is Glass Onion. Knives Out was quirky, had an all-star cast with the likes of Chris Evans, who made Captain America, and Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, from the Halloween movies. The sequel has an equally all-star cast, so you've got Kate Hudson, you've got Dave Bautista, who is obviously from Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special on Disney Plus at the moment. Catherine Hahn, who you may remember from Agatha from WandaVision. And of course Edward Norton himself, who was once the Incredible Hulk, so you've got a bit of a Marvel thing going on here as well. And the cast do give the roles their all. They're all very entertaining, if somewhat a little bit campy, somewhat a little bit over the top. Especially Daniel Craig, who looks like he's having an absolute ball playing this character. And I've heard rumours that he's enjoying playing Benoit Blanc much more than he enjoyed playing Bond. So I'm imagining we'll probably get more after the next sequel to Knives Out. However, Glass Onion is nowhere as good as Knives Out. I found the plot meandering, kind of slow in places. I thought the production values as well. When I heard that this movie was being made for Netflix, I don't know what it was, but I expected kind of the same cinematic quality that you had in the first Knives Out. But when you watch this movie, I watched this on the big screen last week because I had a limited run. I actually did think the production values looked like they were made for Netflix rather than made for the cinema. So I feel the production values have taken a little bit of a step down. It just seemed a little bit, I don't really want to use the word cheap, but maybe a little bit cheap. Definitely made for TV quality rather than cinematic quality. Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc appears quite a way into the movie. I mean, you've got this big elaborate opening scene where everybody's receiving the boxes and solving the boxes, and that goes on for a little while. It's a little while into it. I mean, it's not a great amount of time into the film before you meet Benoit Blanc, but you do take a little bit of time before you meet him, and the movie certainly lightens up when he appears. But then he's absent for kind of big chunks of the film as well. And especially absent at the ending, when the main ending happens, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because obviously I do want you guys to see this movie, but you find that he's taken a step back and let everybody else deal with what's going on, which I thought was a bit of a shame. I thought he should have been there for the ending of the movie as well, to be a part of this resolution, but he wasn't, and I thought that was a great shame. So yeah, it's a shame because I personally do love a good murder mystery. I mean, my wife and I, we love watching things like Columbo and stuff like that, and all the old Agatha Christie movies. But we've had two this year that haven't been up to par. I mean, obviously Glass Onion isn't as good as I would have hoped it would have been, and we had to See How They Run, which was a disappointment as well. So that's two murder mysteries this year that haven't been as good as what I hoped they would have been. But anyway, yeah, so judge for yourselves. Glass Onion is going to be on Netflix from the 23rd of December. So we've had it in a limited cinema release this week on the 23rd of November. It will be on Netflix from the 23rd of December, so you can judge for yourself then. And so on to our second movie of the week, which is She Said. Now, She Said tells the story of two New York Times journalists, Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor, who seek to publish a story that will expose the sexual abuse allegations against the Hollywood movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. This was a very famous case. It was in all of the newspapers, on all of the television news, and you will have heard of this one. And of course, it went on to launch the Me Too movement, which was a massive thing around the world a couple of years ago, and I think still is still relevant. Both Carey Mulligan and Zoe Katan are standout performances, and obviously they play the two journalists, and they've got also a fantastic supporting cast around them. Everybody gives a great performance in this movie. Everybody's compelling. It keeps you intrigued at every turn, but you know, the thing is, it does kind of tend to drag on. They go from victim to victim, trying to get them to come forward and testify and tell their story about Harvey Weinstein. And of course, some people are worried, some people don't want to come forward with their case because of the repercussions that Harvey might launch upon them, or other people in Harvey's kind of family, if you like. But I did find it a little bit slow and a little bit confusing the way that they kept going from victim to victim. You didn't know what victim's relevance was to the case. There are certain characters that did stand out. There's a woman in England that they go across and talk to, and her case was very obvious. But there's other characters they interview and you thought, well, hang on a minute, how does their particular piece of the jigsaw fit in that will help this story go forward? And they seemed to celebrate when one woman came forward on a phone call. I thought, well, how is that different from the other woman that came forward? So there's a little bit of that going on. There could have been a little bit of clarity over which victim was relevant in the story, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I thought it should have been a really, really powerful film. I thought it should have been kind of on the edge of my seat, really urging these people to come forward. And then if they lose somebody, you go, oh, you want those moments of sinking and then those moments of triumph where they get the people that they're after. And this film kind of lacked that. It kind of levelled out. It didn't really have any kind of roller coaster type moments. It was kind of on the flat all the way through. You get somebody, maybe like a little blip, but sometimes in these movies where they are going after somebody, but they really want somebody to come forward for their case, you really didn't need those kind of pits to fall down into where you feel the despair of things aren't going right, and then you also need that ride right back up again, that triumph where they get the person that they're after. And unfortunately this film doesn't really carry any of that. You've just got the achievements and the losses, and you don't really feel them as much as I thought you should feel them. You know, that suspense, that build to triumph, you didn't really get that in this movie. So it does kind of fall flat, which is a shame, because otherwise it's a really good film. It's a really intriguing film. I mean, it kept me awake, it kept me interested in what they were doing, but I just wanted those big kind of dramatic moments which would have really given you the build. So when they get to that final case and they get what they're after, you would have really felt it. I didn't really feel it, which is a shame. But yeah, great performances, as I've said, by all involved. There was one thing that really irritated me though, and it irritated me ever since I saw the trailer, so it's in the trailer and you can go and listen to that if you can bear it. It's the score. There's this piano, plinky plonky piano score that opens the movie, and I found it really, really overbearing, so much so that it kind of detracted from what I was looking at on the screen. I was like, oh my god, shut that bloody noise up, because it was irritating me. You can hear it in the trailer, it's quite prominent in the trailer, but when you watch it in the movie, it kind of starts at the beginning of the film and it's really jarring and really irritating, and then it goes away and then kind of go away to a more subtle score, but every now and again it pops up like a blood, you know, like a monster in like a jump scare in a horror movie. The score suddenly pop back up again, ding 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 ding, and oh my god, go away. So yeah, I didn't like the score, so sorry guys, didn't like the score, that was really, really irritating. All of that said, She Said is very much well worth a watch. I do recommend that you go and see it while it's at the cinema. Now, in our cinema we've got a screen which is known as, well, it is screen 6, and it's kind of known as the Duff screen, where the films go to die, if you know what I mean. She Said was launched on screen 6 this week, so I don't think it's going to be around for another week, which is a shame, because it deserves to be seen by a lot more people than what it will be. So, if you get the opportunity to go to the cinema this week, I do recommend you see She Said. Let me know what you think about the score, because I found it irritating. Maybe you won't, maybe you won't even notice it. Let me know what you thought about the film itself, whether you thought it could have been more triumphant, a bit more build of the suspense and that kind of thing. But yeah, I really did enjoy the film. Like I said, it just could have been fine-tuned to be that little bit better. So that's She Said, out in cinemas as of last Friday. How long it will last, I don't know, but please check out your local listings and see what you can find. Next week, hopefully next week, because we never know what's going on at the cinemas at the moment around here, you'll see a film you want to see, you go, right, want to go and see that, go down to the local cinema, it's not showing, so you have to go further afield. And sometimes, I mean, we really had to struggle to get to see Glass Onion this week, because Cineworld weren't showing it, our Odeon wasn't showing it, we had to go to the View Cinema to watch it, and that was the only cinema that was showing it. So we do have to travel afield to see some of these movies. So hopefully we won't have much of a struggle, but, you know, maybe. Next week is David Harbour as Santa in Violent Night. I spoke about it on my Coming Soon video a couple of weeks back, and I think it looks like a really fun, action-packed, funny, maybe violent, well, it's going to be violent, isn't it? Horror-type Christmas movie, which is my kind of movie. I do like a fun Christmas movie. I'm not really keen on all the schmaltzy Christmas movies, but if you throw a bit of horror in there, a bit of violence in there, make it a bit more action-packed, I'm your man for that one. So, yeah, hopefully that'll be on cinema screens as of next week. It opens the 2nd of December. So, look out for Violent Night. If I happen to see it, I'll review it. If we can't get to see it, then we'll just move on to the next one. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed those reviews. If you do, as usual, if you give this video the thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. It really does help the channel out. If you can subscribe to the channel, that also helps the channel out. It just spreads the word, lets everybody know that we're here. If you can hit the notification bell, that would be great. Lets you know when I've done another video. And also, come and have a chat with me in the comments. You know, a lot of people have. It's great. I've really enjoyed interacting with you. Thank you so much for the people that have left comments on the various videos, on the dinosaur videos, on the collecting videos, on the horror convention videos. And yeah, let's come and chat movies. Let's talk about all different kinds of subjects. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Hope you all have a fantastic, lovely week. And I'll speak to you all soon.